I went fishing with my son a few days ago, and all I managed to bring home was some sticks. My son asked me to go fishing with him last week. I don't have a fishing license and I'm not much of a fisherman, but I went with him anyway and sat on the shore and watched. And like I commonly do, I got up and walked around in the woods and looked to see if I could find fire making materials. Well, not far from where I was sitting was an elderberry bush. The elderberry is not really a wildflower and it's not really a tree, it's more like a bush or a shrub. But one interesting thing about elderberry is the limbs have a prominent pith center, much like a wildflower does. So I cut me a piece about the right length, I don't know, it's maybe 7 inches long or so, and I'm going to process this up into a bow drill spindle just like I would a wildflower and see if I can get it to work. I've never worked with elderberry before. Before I go any further, I wanted to assure you that the limb that I brought home with me was dead and dry. I didn't cut a living limb off of that elderberry bush. Well, here it is. This is pretty much ready to go. Let me tell you what I did with it. First thing I did was I removed the bark from one end to the other. It was loose. Like I said, this was dead and dry. I put a light taper on both ends. And on one end, I whipped the end with some artificial sinew. The reason behind that is to hold it together when I insert this plug. This plug gives me a place to seat my thunderhead up on this end. When a limb or wildflower has a pith center, you really can't carve that down to a pointy end. You need to have something else. This is just a stick I found in my yard. It's about 2 inches long, 2.5 inches long. And I put a sharp taper on one end and a blunt taper on the other. And then I just slowly worked it in to the pith center of my elderberry stick. And that's where my thunderhead will go. And I think this spindle is ready to give a test drive. Stay tuned. I'm working with a sycamore fireboard. I've already burned in and notched a divot. I've never made an ember with an elderberry spindle. Wish me luck. It's a little slow to ignite. I think maybe this spindle is a little bit too degraded, but it is smoking. Let that ember build up for a second. Sometimes you gotta let it grow. Hopefully you can see that on the video, but it's smoking quite nicely right now. Sometimes you just got to be patient. All right. Looks like a nice big ember. There we go. Elderberry works great. If you've watched many of my videos, you know that I really like to use wildflower spindles because they generally make very fast, easy embers. This elderberry spindle was just as easy and just as fast. I think though that maybe it's a little bit on the degraded side. Works great. That's all for this one, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.